Hey everyone, today we are going to solve the Daily LeetCode challenge of 1st April 2024 and the problem statement is length of last word. So let us first understand the problem statement. So according to the problem statement, we have been given a string S and what we have to do is we have to find the length of the last word. Okay, so we can see that in this given string S, how many words are there? There are 1, 2, 3, 4. There are a total of 4 words and which is the last word? So we can see that this blue is the last word, correct? And what we want to return is we want to return its length, right? So what is the length of this blue? It's 1, 2, 3, 4, correct? That is our answer would be 4 because it's containing 4 characters, right? Additionally, it has been mentioned in the problem that this string S can contain spaces at the start and at the end as well. So here we can see that after this letter blue, we are having 1, 2, 3, 4, a total of 4 spaces, right? These are the blank spaces, okay? So let's see how we can solve this problem. So we know one thing, and that's that we want to find the length of the last word, right? That is this blue, correct? So should we start iterating over this given string S from left to right or from right to left? So the answer is from right to left. You can do it from left to right as well, but I'll be explaining this problem while iterating from right to left. The reason being is that if I start iterating from left to right, correct, that is in this way, then I'll first have to process the first word, then the second word, then the third word, and lastly I'll be getting the last word, correct. But if I'll start processing from right to left, then what will happen is I'll get the last word at the very beginning, correct? We can see that if we start iterating from this way, then blue is the first word. So it makes sense to start iterating from the end, right? Rather than starting to iterate from the beginning. But if you start iterating from the beginning, then also you will be able to solve this problem. Okay, there is no issue in that. So I have represented the string over here and I have indexed all the characters, correct? Now what we discussed that we'll start iterating from the end. So we will start iterating like this, that is from right to left. So currently we'll be present at the 18th index. Okay, let me represent this as current. Fine. And initially our answer would be 0. This answer would be calculating the length of the last word. Correct? Now we can see that the element present at the 18th index is a space. Correct? And till now our answer is 0. So what does it mean? It means that we have not yet processed the last word. That is, we have not yet got the last word. So what we'll do is we'll say that if S of current is a space and our answer is 0, then what does it mean? It means that we haven't got the last word yet, correct? So what we'll do? We will simply ignore this space, right? We'll simply ignore this space. And how we'll ignore it? We'll write continue. Okay, so we can see that the current element is a space and our answer is also 0. So what we'll do? We'll simply ignore it. So we will come to the 17th index. Now we can see that again in the 17th index, we have a space and our answer is also 0. So what we'll do is we will simply ignore it and we'll come to the 16th index. Okay. Now we can see that the character present at the current index is again a space and our answer is still 0. So what we'll do? We will ignore it. So we will reach to the 15th index. Now again the character present at the 15th index is a space and our answer is 0. So what we will do is we will ignore it and we'll reach the 14th index. Okay. Now the moment we'll reach 14th index, we can see that we don't have a space here, right? If we'll check for this if condition, then what does this state? It states that is our current element a space. So we can see that our current element is not a space, right? We have a letter over here. That is, we have E over here. Okay. So whenever we'll get a character, what we'll do, we'll simply increment our answer. So we will say that answer plus plus, correct? So what we'll do is we'll increment our answer to 1. And why are we incrementing our answer? It's because we have encountered a character. Okay. And while moving from left to right, if we encounter a character, what does it implies? It implies that this particular alphabet, the part of the last word, that's the reason why we have incremented our answer. Correct? Now what we will do? Now we'll move our current pointer backward. So our current pointer will now be pointing at the 13th index. So what we can see is the element present at the 13th index is not a space, it's an alphabet. So what we will do is we will increment our answer. So our answer will become 2. Now we'll move backward. Now we are present at the 12th index. So in the 12th index, what we can see is we again have an alphabet, correct? That is L. So what we will do, we will increment our answer because this would be a part of the last word. Okay. Now again, we'll move our current pointer backward. We reach to the 11th index. Now in the 11th index, we can see that we have a B, correct? So when we get a B, it means that this could be also a part of our last word, right? So what we will do, we will increment our answer to 4 and we'll move our current pointer backward. So our current pointer is now pointing at the index 10 and we have a space over here. Now, if we check for this condition, that is our current element a space. So this will give us a true because our current element is a space. But if we check for this AND condition, that is our answer 0? So our answer is not 0, right? It's 4 now. Now, you will notice that the moment we reach to this 10th index, we have already got the length of the last word, correct? And how are we going to write that? We'll check if our current value is equal to a space, correct? And our answer is not 0, correct? Then what does it mean? It means that we have got the length of the last word, correct? Because if we encounter a space and our answer is not 0, it means that before this space, we have encountered a word and we have already calculated its length and we have stored that particular length in our answer. So we will say that if we get a space and our answer is not 0, then what we'll do, we'll simply return our answer. So before incrementing our answer, we have to check for this case. That is, if the current element is a space and our answer is not 0, in that particular case, it means that we have already processed the length of the last word and we'll simply return it. So if we'll check for this condition, what we'll do, we'll return our answer and our answer is 4 in this case. Okay. Let's do a quick dry run again on a different test case. So this is the other test case and we can clearly see that we have 2 spaces in the beginning and 3 spaces at the end. Okay. And as we discussed, what we'll do, we'll start iterating from the end. So our current pointer would be at the 17th index. Okay. And initially our answer would be 0. And what we'll check that is the current element a space. So we can see that the current element is a space. And is our answer 0? And our answer is also 0. So what does it mean? It means that till now we have not encountered the last word. So what we'll do, we'll simply ignore. And how are we going to ignore it? We'll simply move our current pointer backward. Correct? Now again, we'll check that is our current element a space. So current element is a space and is our answer 0? Our answer is also 0. So what we'll do, we'll simply ignore it by moving backward. We'll reach to the 15th index. Again, we have a space and our answer is 0. So it means that we haven't yet encountered the last word. So what we'll do, we will ignore this space and we'll reach to the 14th index. Now we will check that is the element present at the 14th index a space. So the element present at the 14th index, it's not the space. Now we'll come to this if. Now again, we'll check, is the element present at the 14th index a space? It's not a space. So what we'll do, we will increment our answer. So our answer will get incremented to 1. And why are we doing this? We are doing this because we have encountered any alphabet. Then it can mean only one thing. That is, this particular alphabet is going to be a part of our last word. Correct? Because we are starting to iterate from the end, right? So if we get a letter, it would obviously be a part of our last word only, right? Now what we will do, we'll move backward, we'll reach to the 13th index. Again, we'll check, is the element present at the 13th index a space? It's not a space. So what we'll do, we'll increment our answer. So our answer will be 2. Now we'll move backward. So we are at the 12th index. Again, the element present at the 12th index is not a space, is not a space. So what we'll do, we'll increment our answer. It will get incremented to 3. We'll move backward. Now we are at the element present at the 11th index. It's not a space. So what we'll do, we will increment our answer. Now we'll come to the 10th index. Now we can see that this is also not a space. So what we'll do, we'll simply increment our answer. Now we'll move to the 9th index. It's not a space. So we'll increment our answer to 6. Again, we'll move backward. So at the 8th index, again, we don't have a space. So what we'll do, we'll increment our answer to 7. And then we'll move to the 7th index, and what we can see is it's again not a space, so we will increment our answer to 8. Then at the 6th index, again we have an alphabet, so we will increment it to 9. Then we'll move forward. At the 5th index, again we have an alphabet, so we'll increment our answer to 10. Now we will move backward. Now we are at the 4th index. Now we'll check, is the element present at the 4th index a space? So this will give us true. Now we'll check for the AND. Is our answer 0? So our answer is not 0, correct? Now we'll come to this if. Now we'll check, is the element present at the current index a space? So we can see that the element present at the current index is a space. Okay. And by that time, our answer is not 0. So what does it mean? It means that we have already processed the length of the last word. So what we are going to do, we are going to return our answer. And what's the answer? The answer is 10. And we can see that what is the length of the last word? It's nothing but 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Correct. So 10 would be our answer for this test case. Now I hope it's clear to you all. So let's quickly code this. So we will start on by creating the variable answer, which would be initially 0. It will keep track of the length of the last word. Okay. Now what we have to do? Now we have to iterate over the string s. And from where are we going to iterate? We are going to iterate from the end to the beginning, right? That is from the right side to the left side. So we will say that int index equals to s dot size minus 1, index greater than equal to 0, index minus minus. And what we will check? We will check that if the element present at s of index is a space and our answer is 0, then what does it mean? It means that we have not yet encountered any of the character of the last word. Correct? So what are we going to do? We are going to ignore it. So we will write continue over here. So what we have done? We have ignored unwanted spaces. Correct? Now, else if we get that s of index is a space, then what are we going to do? Then we are going to return our answer. Why are we doing this? We are doing this because if we reach to this else if case, then what does it mean? It means that till now our answer is not 0, correct? Because if our answer would have been 0, then we would have been inside this if, right? But if we are not inside this if, and if we come inside this if case, then it only means one thing, that is our answer is not 0, correct? So if our answer is not 0 and we have encountered a space, then what does it mean? It means that we have already processed the last word, correct? So we'll simply return our answer. Otherwise, what we'll do? Otherwise, we'll simply increment our answer, correct? And we'll return answer. So let's quickly run this. It's giving us the correct answer. Let's submit it. And it got accepted. Talking about the time complexity and space complexity, if we consider the size of the given string as n, then the time complexity would be order of n. Why? Because we can see over here that what we are doing, we are iterating over the given string s, right? But you will say that we are iterating over the string from the backward direction. So how are we going to iterate over the entire string, right? Because we are returning this answer the moment we have processed the last word. So we will be only iterating up till we have not processed the last word, correct? But we can have a case like this, correct? In which if we are starting to iterate from right to left, then what will happen? We have got a space, we'll ignore. We have got a space, we'll ignore. We have got a space, we'll ignore. And like this, we have to iterate up to all the elements, right? Until we get this particular element, correct? Because this is only the last word of the string S, correct? So in that case, we'll be iterating over the entire string S. That's why the time complexity is order of n. And the space complexity is order of 1 because we are not using any extra space from our end. So that's all about today's Daily LeetCode challenge. Thank you.